Didn't try that. Testing online. Can you hear us online?
Yes. Yes.
That's a thumbs up.
All right.
Thank you.
I'd like to call the Weathersfield School Board meeting to order at 7:06.
Five.
At 7:05. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America. And the Republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any changes or additions to the agenda? We are going to move Christine's report with Larry doing financials first. And well, after we're going to move that first. So that's really the only change. Is that right? Yes. Okay.
Red, blue, and green. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple.
Carrie, can you hear? Can you hear Carrie?
I'll take a.
Carrie, can you mute?
Okay.
With Christine Bourne, can you mute her?
Okay. Next, we'll have approval of the March 17th, 2026 minutes. John has moved to approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there any public Is there anybody who would like to participate? I can participate.
Okay.
Thank you. In tonight's meeting. Sean Whalen?
Sean Whalen, Weathersfield resident, formerly a member of the school board. I have two kids in the school. I have another one who's graduated and is at Woodstock now. My wife and I have both volunteered in the school, taken a strong interest in it. I am going to be voting for the budget. I voted for it first time. I have lots of discontents with our educational system that are very deep. But I've put my volunteer efforts towards making it better. And you know, in the challenges that we have in our community, are large, and they're economic, and they're families that are struggling. And the growth in our school budget does reflect that, because the demands, we put a lot of demands on the school. And I think that's one of our big problems as a community is that we're expecting school to raise our kids. And the school is, I think sometimes people view it too much as a service that's provided to the community. I view it, and my family views it, as a project that our community does together. And I think with that attitude, we could move forward very successfully, or more successfully. The challenges we face are real, and I'm not sugarcoating it. No, I didn't hear anybody sugarcoating it here. Practically, what I would ask for from the board members today, and including the student board members, and including everyone who's here tonight, and also those who are online, and in my own family, to take direct political action this week, and especially next Monday and Tuesday morning, the night before next week's vote. Should be calling every family you know in town. Fine, if people are going to vote no, fine, but everybody should go and vote. There weren't enough votes in this town. Was it 700 or something? That's not enough. It's not enough votes. That doesn't represent the will of our town. And I hope that I know in my heart that the actual will of this town is to support our school, because this is where it's all at. This is the stuff we really care about. These are the people who are going to be doing it in the future. And really, they're already doing it now. As Brian pointed out, and all the public facing things that the school does, the kids aren't just some people in the future who you're going to be counting on to pay your social security. They're the ones who are doing it now. They're doing all the really important stuff. So, board members, I appreciate you being at the basketball games, where people are. I think that was important, but obviously we have to do more. And if everybody's phone lines should be working on Monday night. And I'm sorry you have to do that. I'm sorry we all have to do that, but we do. And I really hope that we all will make those phone calls and have those conversations. Even with your friends who you think are going to vote no. It doesn't matter yes or no. People have to come in and represent for our community and support each other. So I hope we can all do that this week. The voting is next Tuesday. Okay, you got to do it.
Thank you. Anyone else? So next we'll have Christine and Larry give their report.
Yeah, so for the third quarter financials, Weathersfield is right on the line. As you can see from the summary page, last page, beginning fund balance, how you charge for the year. We're expecting 8.8 million in revenue. The expense and encumbered, which means expenses that we expect to have, at 8.7, with leading you with a projected estimated surplus of $63,664, which is less than 1% either way. So that's where you stand. This is on the website. It's been on the website since April 1st. The third quarter ended March 31st. Fourth quarter ends June 30th. Questions?
John has a question, Larry?
Yeah.
Can you get these ahead of time? I really feel uncomfortable doing a part of us at a meeting.
Okay.
Or put, we don't want to put it off. It's almost too close.
What I can do from now on is, instead of just posting it to the website, I'll also email to the board.
Thank you.
All right. Of course, just FYI, sometimes, it's not all the time, but sometimes board meetings might be like, I'm just picking a date, April 3rd, and then April 1st is when I do it. You'll get it April 1st, so it might only be 2 days, but just give you a heads up.
Okay.
But, because you guys meet earlier in the month than the SU. Thank you, yeah, I'll do that now.
Yeah, even a couple days is good, or like when Lori puts out the agenda would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I'll just do it at the same time I put it on the website.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. You sharing?
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm gonna, BJ's gonna drive for me, so let's go to the next slide. Ready? Okay. As you know, we have goals at the SU level and at the district level, and I like to highlight those at the part of success and engagement is a big one that we've been working on since the inception of our strategic plan, and I spend time at all the schools, and I love to Weathersfield to see all the engagement that's happening. I happened to be in first grade with Brian the other day, and we got to witness a really engaging learning activity where students were they completed graphic organizers to be able to help them write a short paragraph on goldfish, and the teacher brought in goldfish for them to eat while they filled out their graphic organizer, what they looked like, what they tasted like, and what they felt like, and it was just magic to see, and we were excited about their writing, and so. Did I say that? Yes.
Mathematic.
So it was magic to see, and the other picture was just art, actually, and Brian mentioned amazing artwork that was on this building, and I happened to be walking by, and somebody, another student said, got to see this project, and so that is just an example of one of the amazing art projects. We're definitely engaged here. The other big goal that we report on is culture and student staff wellness. Always working on. Weathersfield has a very active student leadership group, and when I was here last week, I happened to walk through the dining hall, and there were students in there serving the other students, which was a great reach. And then I stopped by at an elective, and I saw kids walk into the music room without any direction from their teacher, get out their equipment, get out their stands, get their music notes, get all set up, and they started warming up, and then the teacher was in the time, and she started giving the direction. So they're definitely eating their own learning and really helping them positive building. So go on. The next two slides are, that was exciting. I've seen the kids in school, but I wanted to share that the House Education Committee has been working on a bill related to Act 73, and I'm going to read a little bit so that I get it right for you. So the intent of this bill is to work strategically, intentionally, and thoughtfully to ensure that each incremental change made to Vermont's public education system provides strength and support to its only constitutionally required financial service. So this is in response to the work of the Act 73 and the task force last year. Really said, we know there needs to be some transformation and some consolidation, but we need to do that on a timeline that's manageable and strategic. And so this bill is trying to respond to those needs. On the next slide, you'll hear, I'm sure there's a press conference today, so it's out there in the news. The part of the bill is to create what has been in the past called BOCES, which is the Board of Cooperative Educational Services, which is now being called a CSAW, which is a Cooperative Education Service Agency. And so this bill promotes the creation of 7 CSAWs across the state. And within those CSAWs, oftentimes, folks either CSAWs are a way to provide special education services in an efficient way, so resources, hiring people that can be shared across school districts, providing programming that is really not accessible oftentimes for specific needs for students. So there are a lot of efficiencies that can be received in this spot. So that's part of the proposal. The other part is on the next slide, BJ. The part of the bill would require that facilitators are hired for each, I think one of each CSAW to go in and talk to communities about essentially consolidation. And of course, it'll be voluntary. I believe there will be some incentives involved with this bill. It almost feels like a reenactment of Act 46 in some ways. So that is on the table currently. There is another piece of it. We can go to the next slide. The language in this bill adds contingencies related to the foundation formula implementation was part of implementing the funding formula was reliant on consolidation. So this language adds contingencies related to the foundation formula implementation, including requirement for modeling uniform districts, so we need to know what they look like to know their cost. Enacted legislation that addresses how to fund the current unknowns of the foundation formula. That's CTE needs to get cost of living adjustments, transportation, special education, things that you just if all the contingencies are met, and not all of them are listed in that list, foundation formula will take effect on July 1, 2030. So a bit more of an on-ramp than the Act 73 legislative last year. And then the last piece of it There's a section of the bill that would address prepay. And right now, there's a study from the sheriff's office that suggested counting prepay students as full pupils. Right now, they're not counted as full pupils in that way formula. But to move to the foundation formula at the bottom of the decision. So that's hot on the press what's going on in Montpelier right now. And and I think there's one more slide. Yes, radon testing was completed. That was another requirement putting out the legislature. Again, I will say an unfunded mandate to cost each school $5,000 to have radon testing. But there were no findings, so that's good. Radon, so any of our buildings. So something to celebrate. ETCAP testing, and Brian talked about supported the we're in the last minute of Weathersfield and the makeups. And I know the agency is working on data collection earlier from districts so that we get those results. We just so it's hard to do effectively if we don't have it. And I just want to put out their graduation dates, so you can get them on your calendar. Weathersfield will graduate 8th. And that's high school, I know there are many students, Weathersfield, graduate, that's 2 5th, that's 7th. Brian is very good. I love to
May I?
Yeah.
Could you return to the slide on seesaws? Forget what number that was. But
This is the first one. Oh, I stopped sharing, sorry.
sorry. But Superintendent Bourne
Yes.
mentioned that this seemed like a replay of Act 46 in some ways.
Not the seesaws, but the parts where the facilitator speaks about consolidation and not forced consolidation, voluntary consolidation.
Okay. I saw a replay in the sense that the state is asking districts to share services. It's the sharing of services to save money. And in Act 46, that was the expressed intent to save money through sharing services. And it's my memory of how we got through that was that the SU that we all like to use as a piñata actually was how we got through Act 46. It was through the SU that we were meeting many of these requirements. And it would seem that I've seen the different maps and I've been trying to follow this. It's impossible because of the political malpractice of legislators past and present around education. This is absolute malpractice. But has there been any discussion in your office or in the SU board that the current function of the SU might meet some of these requirements of seesaw?
Yeah, absolutely. And, does that make sense on a community level? Like one SU combined with another SU and about efficiencies and cost savings? And I think that's where the model needs to show, right? That would be an effective move because this is for Steve Ward speaking. My opinions on it. If you have a larger SU, you're still going to need a superintendent. You're probably going to need an assistant superintendent. You're going to need an HR director, which we have here, one. You're going to need assistant HR directors. At some level, there isn't efficiency of scale to get bigger. That makes sense. But there be some cost savings, maybe. It depends what your community wants. So we talked about it. As you know, under Act 46, two of our districts merged into one district. That's very cost saving. Yes, there is. as um, that's maybe just- I appreciate in this bill that there will be conversation happening before it's. That's
May I follow up? Brian, do you have perspective on how Weathersfield fits into that? I mean, as Christine says, two districts within our SU did combine. But Weathersfield really didn't have to do much because of what we were already doing within the SU. Is there any perspective from you and this board about whether Weathersfield would survive, would be intact similarly in the current?
I think it would depend on how they're breaking things up, whether you stay K-8 or another building would become a middle school at 5. I think we would stay, but in what capacity, I'm not sure.
the other thing we're doing, Sean, Heartland board at the last meeting, we're looking and seeing potentially what's coming. They've asked, Larry to come back to the next meeting. What is the budget? You know, if what would that look like in terms of, cost savings? There's roughly equally as much. And that, does that mean you have choice against? Asking, like, that means, that forward in that way. There's going to be consolidation, and I'd like to look for some consolidation. I think I don't know or it's to have good information and
Sean, were you talking about like the CSAT in particular? Because I'm not sure if you're aware, the SU did vote recently to become part of the BOCES program.
yes.
So Christine can speak more on that, but we did as a board vote to enter into the BOCES with them to start. And I'm curious too, to see how that will help us, or what plans are, what we may be sharing, but that's a BOCES. We already are now newly part of a BOCES. So
In the Southeast region.
First in the state.
First in the state, yeah.
So this is a step that this board has taken
Yes.
to try to make those requirements with as little change possible.
So yeah, I'm excited to see hopefully what
Yep. In fact,
is gonna happen.
the BOCES, its name is, it will change because it's, agency.
Yeah.
Has been asked to be the fiscal agent to, hire all of the facilitators, this bill goes forward, for the regional discussion. They are, forward thinking in this region, I don't think the governor is supporting this bill, but supported the formation of BOCES, so it's a little bit.
I know it's a mess right now at that level. I'm just curious about the SU board and our board's strategy in terms of that and how that played out in 946. I think you've answered it. Thank you.
And that was in the works before Act 73 passed, like the SU board, we already were discussing that. And then it became official more recently. John has a question.
Yeah. Anything we're talking about now is still speculation because legislation. House Ed forwarded the bill, but it hasn't even been discussed on the floor. And it didn't really amendments. The question for Christine is, and I haven't followed the Senate side, but are they committing something? I know at one time they had a bill, really didn't dump the House version.
They did send something. Yeah. It's almost.
Seems like they've gone to their floor.
I don't think so.
got a lot of work to do before they adjourn.
Ways and means, I think the ways and means, go to the Senate, and I'm sure there'll be lots of strike throughs.
Yep.
And probably end up at conference committee. I don't know, they should. Okay. So yeah, it is a lot to follow, other things.
Brian? You can give you a hair brush?
Yeah, maybe. I need one. You can tell what kind of day I had because the gel is gone out of my open. So that's what I did. Okay. All right, so this is my lead learner report for April 7th. New format, trying something different here. So. All right, so there's our motto, you know what to do it. Our school motto is more than a phrase. It's a daily call to action for every student, teacher, and leader in our community. There's 2 of our leaders right there. And they know what to do, and they're doing it. So, great picture to put that in the book. So. And then our mission is mission of Weathersfield Schools, prepare and empower students to be leaders. The goal is by helping students develop critical thinking, communication, collaboration skills, and creativity. 4 C's of education. All right, PTO. Jess Brown, you're up.
Perfect. So we've been busy since I last gave an update in February. So I think during the last meeting, we were in the midst of our coin wars. So another very successful coin wars. 5th grade actually won this year. They were very close second last year. So they won overall, collected and donated over $800 in donations throughout the week. So now that the weather is nice, we are working on a plan for them to get to slime Mr. Martez. So they will be sliming Mr. Martez. They will be having scooter races against Mr. Martez and ending with an ice cream social. So we have some fun planned for the 5th graders here in the coming weeks to finally close out the coin wars piece of it. We did award Miss Berry a mini grant to help her support the Red Ribbon Week that she does. So gave her a little, she put in a request, so we supported that. We are busy planning Staff Appreciation Week. So Teacher Appreciation is the first full week in May, May 4th through May 8th. We incorporate it and call it Staff Appreciation. So it includes all the staff in the school. So we are full swing, preparing something for every day for the staff. So we're wicked excited for that. We are rolling out this week, hopefully, 8th grade signs. So we started a couple years ago offering parents of 8th graders to buy lawn signs from Red Roof Press. And they donate back a portion of those proceeds to us so they can get a lawn sign with their 8th graders picture on it saying congratulations. So that will be going out. So any 8th grade parent that wants to buy those is welcome to buy those. I did touch base with Brian this week, the spring weather. So hopefully means the swing sets will be getting installed soon. So we are looking forward to that going in. We've had some issues with the shed, so the PTO is trying to figure out how we can help the school with recess storage. So we're working on moving a shed for the school over to store the recess equipment. So it's not open to everybody and not in the weather. So working on that for that piece of it. We assisted with the Camp Read a Lot, put up a lot of the decorations for Camp Read a Lot. So we like helping out for that and happy to help with that. Other than that, that's pretty much what we've done over the last 2 months. I'm just going to put a plug out there that we are looking for more volunteers for our events. We do have Paw Drop coming up in September, and that does require a lot of volunteer support for us. So if anybody's interested in joining our committee or just being on our volunteer list, please reach out to us. We do have a few members, myself included, that will be phasing out in the next year. So we want to start ramping up our small and mighty group that we have. it seems like we do a lot and we're all crazy to do it, but you don't need to be as crazy as I am or some of the other members on the board. So just putting that out there. The only other thing is I'm going to quickly change my hat to the booster and just plug that we are doing a booster athletics cleanup for the baseball field this coming Sunday, starting at 8:30. So if anybody's looking to do anything and wants to come help us rake the field and pick up leaves and get the field all ready to go for the baseball season, we will be doing that starting at 8:30 on Sunday. 8:30.
Thanks, Jess. And, staff, just so you know, she gave me a little tidbit of information for staff appreciation. I'm not going to share it because I'm being quiet about it, but it's pretty awesome. But we are in for a treat that week, so thank you very much. Also, I appreciate helping us with that shed. So we have a shed that has been stored with some stuff in it that we don't really use. So we're trying to repurpose and reuse something and bring it over so that we can use it, so that we don't have a plethora of sheds around the school, but that we can actually use this one. So thank you very much for helping out. And that is a PTO picture up there. It was just John after he won the unicorn at the pod drop last year. He loves that picture, so I had to put it up there again. All right. So our student school board rep, Kendall does an amazing job. She helps out where she needs to help out throughout the school day. She actually got interviewed by a newspaper today, which was pretty cool, about students on the school board. So she gave a positive shout out for Weathersfield and all the things that I make her do at school. And she does it most of the time with a smile, so we appreciate that. I'll get a better picture for next time, but I thought that one was pretty cool. So thank you, Kendall, for everything you did. The recent school events, we had Camp Read a Lot, which Jess mentioned at PTO. It's that opportunity for kids to be able to enjoy the love of learning, and we bring the outdoors indoors and have it right here. Well, we didn't have it in this room. We had it in the AP room and down in the music room and the art room, which was awesome. Sean Whalen was actually here doing campfire songs as well, so we appreciate that. It's the second year he's done that. Our first graders made their annual leprechaun traps, which is pretty awesome on how they come up with these different ways for a leprechaun to get caught in a trap. And it is just so much fun to see the excitement in their eyes and then hear it in their voices so that they see how they can potentially catch a leprechaun. We do our Pride Assembly. We actually did one. We had one last month, in March. Yes, March. And then we have one coming up on this Friday. So if you happen to be around the area, come on in at 8:10 to join us for our Pride Assembly. So Friday's a pretty busy day with not only our Pride Assembly, but we also have our showcase for our upcoming musical. So we share with our students to give them just a little bit of information so that they can come and show up Friday night and Saturday. And then we do invite the students, the drama students from Heartland and Windsor to come and see the show as well. So it's sharing that community across the SU. And then we have the Invention Convention, which is what our fourth graders do. And that was on March the 12th. And fourth graders come up with different inventions of things that they want to be able to create and do. Such an awesome opportunity. And some of the ideas that kids came up this year were just over the top. And then one of the last things we're highlighting is middle school dances. One of my favorite things here at school. Love middle school dances so much. And I always volunteer Carrie Jewell. Well, she sort of volunteers herself, but I also have volunteered to do the DJing. So we call her DJ CJ. And she, has got the medallion and everything for it. Well, one of the dances that the kids taught me to do, and she was not here for that. She had another event that she had to go to. So I had a DJ. That is one of the most stressful things I've done lately because you have to monitor everything and see if the kids are dancing. If they're not dancing, you got to mix it up. And I didn't realize how much our kids love the limbo. We went through like 15 different versions of the limbo song and everybody before they got out, but it was really stressful. And then I thought I was really cool because I was doing it on my phone, all through Bluetooth. And then I walked too far to check on something at the front door. And then the kids were like, "Mr. Martin's the music, stop, get back in here." So that was pretty embarrassing, but it is a stressful thing. So when you go to a wedding and you have a DJ, appreciate that they can do the job because it is much harder than I ever thought it would be. And then we did our monthly safety drill. Our students do such a phenomenal job with it. You throw a little snow out there, throw a couple obstacles out there, they still get to where they need to go. This last one was a totally surprise drill for them. It was a surprise to staff too, so they always appreciate that from me. But it just does help with the whole situation. So the staff did a great job with coordination of it, and the students came out very orderly and quickly. And so it's always nice to see how well our kids do and how well they are trained. So if something would ever happen in the building, I know that our kids would get out safely. And Leader and me, ramping up with that. Our leadership day is coming up. So those are our 7 habits. Our leadership day is coming up on May the 22nd. And it's been nice because we finally got our K2 and our 3-5 student lighthouse teams up and running. And some of the ideas that those students have come up with, I've been a guest to pop in there a little bit, but Kristen Hubner is managing those 2 groups, and they come up with great ideas. They meet every other week in the conference room, and they are coming up with some great ideas to be able to help things out at the school and get more involved. And so we're going to start finally having kindergartners through second graders come in and help out with announcements in the morning and do some other things throughout the school. So it's pretty awesome. And then the next slide, so just next about that stuff. We can go on to the last one. And then some of our upcoming events, like I mentioned, April 10th, our Pride Assembly and All Shook Up. And then All Shook Up at 7 p.m. It's by donation, so generally help out our drama production and come to the show. Come Friday night, come Saturday. It's a great opportunity to see our kids. Student-led conferences are coming up the following week. So that's the week of the 13th through the 17th. April 14th, of course, is our school budget vote. April 20th through 24th is spring break. And then April 29th, we're having our next family event, which we're having family STEAM night. And so we have lots of opportunities for STEAM. And VT-CAP testing is finishing up this week. Our students are finishing with the regular testing tomorrow with math grades 3 through 8. We will be doing makeups. And hopefully, if everything goes as planned, they'll be done by Friday with makeups done. And then we can send those off and wait for our results so we continue to be a school that is meeting and excelling across the state. So that is it for my report. Thank you.
All right, so items for discussion, followed by motions if needed. First one is budget. Yeah. Right.
Tuesday.
Vote next Tuesday. Again, share with the community. That'll tie into the board engagement check-in. Obviously, we have our marching orders, which we've had. I think everybody signed up on the spreadsheet that sent out. First time. Okay.
Yeah, 3 out of 5.
Okay. So we plan to be visible like we were for the last vote. Trying to be out here at the school at pickup and drop-offs, at the polls.
Hopefully it's better weather than today.
Yeah, or that night, yeah.
I don't think it
Yeah.
is actually a good, had a good idea about adding an additional time for us to be here, someone to be here prior to the play or when having some of the budget drafts.
Yeah, we can print the new schedule. Actually share that too. Well, that was the best. Yeah, so sort of like we did the last meeting, have them available for those coming to the play. Yeah, but I don't know if there's like a better way. We did that at the basketball games and, folks are coming to see a play and they're really excited about that. They don't generally want to stop and say hi and talk about it, so we can't hand them out. I just don't know if there's a better way to communicate, like registering to vote, for those who have it. So we don't actually have, they're gonna pull for that. But may not be able to pull off for Friday, but
We do. We have it from our flyer. This is all about voting.
yeah,
And it
I
gives
just for the thing going.
This
You
is
did
for
do an
new voting.
updated one.
Yep, this is, yeah. We could do that. And yeah, be visible at the play.
If you Friday. I don't know if you want to put that on here. Look at it.
Yeah, I can add it to the spreadsheet.
Okay with you? You're gonna,
Yeah.
set up some fire.
Anybody? I know John and I were here before Winds. We were building bird's nest on Tuesday. I built some bird's nest with first graders, which was super fun. They were really into it, really into it. They had some pretty incredible bird's nest. So we did that before Winds. Here for that.
Rain for us.
Oh,
We
no.
stayed in the classroom.
Okay. Oh, yeah, bummer.
Still, the conversation, no, went beyond bird's nest to more environmental things, the old pictures about. But
Can't recall the date of Camp Read a lot, but my boys really enjoyed it. That was a really, really good.
All right. Anything else? So, next is the, just some questions about the LED lighting, the labor part.
Yeah, so we initially started discussing this project, I think in January. Maybe wrong about that. I know that there was notes in the February meeting about project, and there was a special, or there was a mention that there was going to be labor from this project. I'm a little bit, I want to go back to that because I'm a little bit confused on the cost of the labor, who's going to do the labor, where the labor gets paid from, and I think we need a transparency of how we get to this.
the labor is going to be either school staff, which basically would be Brian and Barry. The second part of the labor will be myself, which I'm donating. And the value of that, if it was contracted out, was $10,000. We have lined up at least one high school kid who would look for two. And we're anticipating by the time you get done paying FICA and all that stuff, it costs around $18 an hour. And that was the two employees for the summer in the about $11,000. It still doesn't add up to the amount we had on we voted in last meeting. But there's a contingency in there, and don't forget it was a cost not to exceed. Which I'd like to point out that there's been some discussion about the reserve fund also, and I went into the town office because I wanted to be clear where the reserve fund, what it can and can't be used for, because reserve funds are very dedicated to this, exactly what it says. We're back to 1986. Can't find any language that ever created it. So anyway, what we did find though was I'll read it. This is from 2012. Shall the voters of Weathersfield School District approve the Australian ballot of transfer of $275,000 plus Weathersfield School District General Fund to the Weathersfield District Capital Reserve Fund for future upkeep and renovation of the school facilities of the ground. So there's definitely some language in there that we're using the money appropriately. And at some point, we don't need to talk about it tonight, we need to remedy the fact that we can't find the enabling. It's required by BSA, on statutes annotated that any reserve fund be created by the voters, and we have been able to find it said it was. And along that line, the town found like four accounts that never had language. So it can be done retroactively just to clean it up. So in the future, everybody will know exactly what the fund was for.
Yeah, my last question would be, so if we are going to use some of our current staff, aren't they already paid when they're working? Or are we paying them extra? Like, how is that?
That wasn't in the budget. No, it's not extra. The problem there becomes is where they're not. to get
So
done.
this labor figure, whatever that ends up being, is only for hired labor. It's not already
Correct, correct. And incidentally, all the lamps came in today. And the other material we needed is on the road, I believe.
And you'll keep us posted when we start it, like when you're starting that.
I do think they're gonna start turning vacation, but the primary amount of work will get done. Summer vacation's gonna seem awful short.
Actually,
Right.
some of the lights already got installed today.
That doesn't surprise me.
They started installing some of the bulbs, so, the lighting definitely goes. Replacing some bulbs, they've already been out. So, we got a light in there today, which is really nice. You can tell the difference and, positive.
That's attributed to lighting.
I believe so.
Live stream.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's a really nice light, and then there's the option of these LED bulbs that you can do 5,000 or 500. Lots of our teachers like the more subdued, the softer light, and so it's simply a flip of the switch in the bulb itself. Pretty fancy, as I'm gonna say, that they can do that right there, and so it connects those filters that so that's a possibility. So we can adjust the lighting in the classroom based on the needs of the classroom and the classroom.
And that can be useful in like in the small room, especially out there.
Absolutely.
Change the room.
Yeah, you can change the lighting in there, which it makes it nice, but I like a bright office. You guys take a look when you walk out. It's not like overwhelming, because I tend to go a little overwhelming. But these aren't that way.
And another part of this is that the town, through the solid waste district, got us all the recycling boxes. It's on our boxes, kind of to get rid of the old lamps. And those boxes are here also.
Yep, they're already on. We started with today.
Thank you for that clarification. Next is, announcement of a retirement.
Yes, so we do have a retirement. So, yeah, the pictures for quite a long time. Decided that she is engaged to retire. To, be able to come back and still have our cause and start to be a teacher. Because we've always been very involved throughout the school for all their years. That Mindy played here at school. Yes, she was a basketball coach. She's taught 6th grade. She's taught science there, grade 1, 4, and 5. And just started off as a library assistant, followed by a paraprofessional, and then Woodbury University teacher. And she saw that and got to that, so she's not going to do this. But she decided to retire. Celebrate her. The rest of the year, she went back to visit, because once she retired, she still show up there. That's the goal. So, lose her in one way, but we're gonna gain her back in another. So it's a win-win for us, big win-win, so. So that one, we just have to.
Yes. Can we do that now? So I'll take a motion to approve Wendy Allen's retirement. All those in favor?
I
Aye.
said no.
Thank you, Wendy. We'll miss you.
Doing this before the school budget vote so that people know that teachers aren't afraid that one of them is gonna get laid off. They understand that everybody's staying. So hopefully the budget passes.
Yes. Okay. Setting the next agenda,
have the anticipation of. Or the budget debrief.
Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and put budget on there. Hopefully it's a debrief. Let's talk it again.
That's the best.
Yes. The other thing I was thinking, that I had thought of, I don't know if you have it on your calendar, checking in with Jim about just our school and maybe where he's at with the boiler, just keeping us updated. If it's ordered, if it's when that may be installed. I just want us to kind of keep that. And then possibly, well, I know he's gonna do one thing at a time, but you know, if we wanna check another thing on his top 5 list, but thinking ahead to that. I don't know if you had him down. I know we had said, you know, every so many months, maybe check in. Yeah. He doesn't necessarily, but I'd like to know where we're at with the boiler. Yep. Does anybody have anything right now? Okay. All right, I guess, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.